All right. Well, hello, everyone. It's Dee Corchin, and I am glad you guys are on. It is Monday night. It is 7:28 on August 15th, or yeah, August 15th. And so we are here for our weekly team time. And I know we've got all different people on this call, different experience levels, different ranks in the company, but everybody is welcome here because what we know about Optavia is community is important and learning and growing is important. So I'm excited about tonight's topic. And we've just had a lot buzzing around. If you guys enjoyed all the stuff that we've been putting out for you guys, first of all, y'all are knocking it out of the park. Can I just say, we started our Renew You in 2022. We started promoting that challenge. As of yesterday, we had 176 people registered in the morning. By that night, we had over 100 more people. Pop in the chat right now. Let's just do a wild guesses. How many people do you think we have registered in that challenge right now? Ooh, good guess. And what else do we got? 450, 350, 250, 525, 345. It's probably gone up since I last looked at it, but as of like an hour ago, it was 428 people. 428 people. So what that tells me, you guys, is that we can get discouraged, right? We see orders getting postponed, or we see that somebody might not, be ready for the program yet. But just within this group, we have 428 people that have said, yes, you know what, for the next 28 days, I want to be committed and whatever. So still invite, people can still jump, like get on the horn, like talk to your clients or whatever. I think it matters. I think people want what we have to offer, and an environment like this gives them a perfect opportunity for you to coach them well. Jordan and Sarah did a great training last night on the 10K Club. There was a little confusion about who could be in that meeting. It was actually for whoever wanted to be part of the Big Thinkers, the 10K Club. And what that means, you're helping enough clients to have $10,000 in volume. They gave the who, the what, the why. It was excellent. So if you are looking to grow your business, looking Coaches Out for Change, just scroll down. You can see the live feed, or I also have access to the recording. I can get you that as well, but well worth the watch. And then don't forget, our Tuesday night calls, you guys, are blowing up. We're adding like 50 people a week on those calls. So keep promoting them to your clients. That helps with integration. Tomorrow night, Lori Cole and I are going to do the top 10 secrets your coach wants to know. That was super fun on Team Time a couple of weeks ago. We're going to do it from a client perspective. So that'll be great. And then Thursday night this week will be what is that? The 18th will be part 2 of the Stepping Into Coaching. So this is for all of us that are wanting to grow our business. Maybe we're not senior coach yet, or we are trying to grow to senior coach. We just want to help more people, or we want to learn how to sponsor and support coaches. Meg Johnson is going to train on the health assessment and the utilization of that powerful tool. And she is masterful. I don't care how long you've been coaching. I would come and listen to her train on that. And just a reminder that the new Coach Accelerator bonus, anybody who signs up in this month to become a coach in August is eligible for that bonus. And you are too, for that first month of their bonuses. So plenty of time for that. And then they can actually get those bonuses in then for the next 2 months after this as well. So that is that. We also announced that we opened Awaken. Right. We learned that we have expanded capacity in the ballroom. It's much bigger than we thought it was, or the portion of the ballroom we have. So we have expanded it. As of right now, anybody who has been an executive director from between January 2022 to current is eligible to register. So the hotel rooms are filling. It's getting exciting, you guys. And we did mention that we are going to have Paul Blanchard and Amy Kemp there from the Habit Finder. So the personal development training, y'all, like this is unheard of in a small, intimate environment to be able to have that. And if you attended Awaken last year, maybe drop in the comments, what was your favorite part about it? Because there's probably some people on this call wondering, do I want to go? Do I not want to go? Or maybe they're thinking, gosh, I could really wish I could qualify. So maybe pop in the chat, what was your favorite part about it? And I just love the intimacy of it, the intimacy and the learning, because of the fact that we, convention, all that's big. Sometimes we don't get to see each other as much as we would like. All right. So we talked about coaching clients well, and that is such an important role that we have, and something that you guys have expressed is really a follow-up to another call we did earlier this year, really on how do we support our clients well, and how do we make our conversations more than how are you doing on the plan, right? How much weight did you lose? Because we know the plan is the plan. What most often gets in the way for somebody is themselves. So how do we ask the right questions to go deeper with them to be able to it? And it's just a skill that we learn over time. But I'm going to turn it over to Shauna Davis because she is masterful at that. And I know she's got some great coaches to help her out tonight.
Thank you so much, Dee. And listen, Awaken, if you haven't registered yet and you're able to, please do. You will not regret it. So what I thought we'd do tonight is just to dig a little deeper. Like Dee said, I don't know, a few weeks or so, maybe a month or so ago, we had a panel of coaches. They answered some great questions on asking better questions, did a fabulous job. But one of the things that we'd like to do tonight is just dig a little deeper there. If your clients are having a great week, plugging along like a champ, the conversations are easy, right? I mean, can I get an amen? We love them. But often they're not. Often they're struggling. And we have clients that struggle repeatedly with the same things over and over. Do you find it hard to help your clients navigate around being curious or self-identifying what the core of their struggle is? Can I get a 1 in the chat if that's a struggle? Because I know it was for me early on. And one of the things that I wanted to do was just to jump in there and give them all the answers. And what we don't want to do with that is to be a hero coach. Hero coaching says, when we're doing that, it's us saying, oh, I have all the answers. Oh, I heard this. Let me just jump in there and give you the answer. And it's easy. We can just tell them what to do. But this is what we sound like to them. Normally, they're just not listening to us. So what we need to do is to get in there and help them become curious around, why am I struggling week after week? Why was it hard last week when I came home from work every single day? What was going on? So asking the right questions and then just being quiet and let them dig in to self-discovery is something that's really important for us to do. Our clients who are in the Life Book, we don't see this as often because that's what they're doing. They're learning. They're learning in the Life Book how to do that self-discovery, how to dig in, how to become curious around why something continues to pop up in their life. So one of the things that I would encourage you to do is to just really get your clients into that Life Book. Along with your conversations and the Life Book, they're going to be a little bit more inclined to start doing that. I love to share my knowledge and experience. And as a new coach, I used to just jump right in and always was giving advice and giving, one suggestion after another. But what I learned is if we can turn that conversation around and lead our clients to explore what's going on, what's really going on, what happened this week? How are you feeling when you ate that cake? It's all of these things that if we can there's a light bulb that goes off and you can almost hear it in their response to you. So what I don't want you to sit there and be concerned about is, oh my gosh, I've not ever done that. I don't know how to do that. This is a skill I don't have. That's okay. It doesn't come naturally to all of us, but it's something you can learn. So if you're struggling in that area, ask your coach to do some role play with you. You're going to hear tonight 3 coaches who I feel like really excel in the area that they're going to be talking about. And so they're going to each give you just a different spin on maybe some different scenarios with some questions that they like to ask their clients to help them, kind of lean into that discovering for themselves what's going on. So, and also I'm going to put either in the recorded version of this on our coaches page or in the chat, whichever is easier for me to do. There's a great resource on our coaches page. I believe Beth Bilton might have posted it back in 2019, and it's called Leading Questions to Ask Clients or Coaches. It's already there. It's like 3 pages of the most amazing prompts and questions that you can dig into. And you can always search for it in the little search thing. So we're going to jump right in with Elaine. She is going to hop on and share with you. And I'm so excited to hear from these 3 coaches because I learn every time I listen to any of y'all speak. So Elaine, you want to hop right in?
All right. Sure. I think I'm unmuted successfully. So that's step number 1, pass that test. So thank you again, Shauna, for asking me. And I'm always privileged to, very excited to be able to talk with everybody today. So it's always fun to say all the faces that I've known for a long time and all the new faces as well. So my name's Elaine. And I want to go maybe just a little bit different direction. I am going to give you the 2 questions, that Shauna asked me to do. But I want us to really think about, first of all, that place that we need to be in when we are talking to them, because that is such an important piece. We talk about this with the health assessment. We talk about the fact that you've got to be at a place with confidence. When you go in and you talk to them about, the program, you're excited and you want to, you want to help them. It's very similar when we're talking to them once they've already had their first couple weeks of losing weight, of having success. You've been able to tag them in posts and give them the lean and green recipes. Now we got to really dig deep, right? We got to figure out, how do we get inside their head? And what I want you to think about first is, do you remember those times when that happened to you? Do you remember when you had tears because you're like, this isn't working? And you know what the secret sauce is? The secret sauce, the power of it all, is hope. I did a live about this a couple weeks ago. I do my lives every couple weeks, and hope is so important because it gives you the fuel to go forward and get past those really tough times. And what has happened normally when people stop losing weight, they've lost hope already. They're like, yep, doesn't work. It's over. It's over. So you need to figure out a way to get them back to the hope. Now, these questions are definitely going to help you. And, we've got 6 great questions tonight, right? Everybody's going to give 2. But you need to get into that mind space, because I think the delivery is just as important as your questions. So for me, I can go back to the convention just a few weeks ago. I looked out over the 15,000 people and thought, oh my gosh, all of these people have hope. They have hope for whatever that is. And so whatever is your trigger to get you into that mind space when you're talking to these people, and sometimes you don't even know that they're having a problem until you get on the phone. So you got to be able to kind of, develop that and figure out how to get there. But for me, the convention is my thing that I can just immediately go to and say, all right, so what I want you to do is I want you to share with me, when we first spoke, when you decided, you know what, I am signing up for this because this is exciting. I'm going to go ahead and make some changes in my life. Yes, I want to get started today. And they're excited at that point. I want you to go back and remember that day. What kinds of things did you tell me? What types of things were you excited about? Okay. So now what kinds of things can we be excited about going forward? Because if you get them into that headspace, then they can really think a little more clearly about how to take that next step forward. So I always go back and, kind of to their why, right? To that first time when they first opened their box, they were excited. That's really my question 1, is just let's go back to that time when you were excited again and see if we can rekindle what we can do to get you excited about this next coming week. My question number 2 is, how about if we recap some of these successes? And, we always call those NSVs, but I don't always lead them to the NSV, topic. I just like to say, let's just talk about some successes. I have one of my clients, I love her to death. She always comes up with these things that I've never heard, like I wrapped the towel around farther, it overlapped. My shadow was a different size. She notices a lot of these little things. And if you can get some of those things out of them, that gets that excitement back, that gets that hope back. And that is really the key, getting the hope back so that they can say, yes, I want to be able to, to do something else. Maybe next week I'm going to be able to climb the stairs without my knees popping. you know? So I think that's the key for me is it's not necessarily the question, although I love those two questions. Those are my two go-tos, especially early on, but it's really trying to figure out how to get that hope back for them. So I hope I didn't go over my time. I think I did okay. So I hope that helps.
That was fabulous, Elaine. Thank you so much. I hope that you guys heard her excitement. And I know that most of you have probably seen some of Elaine's lives. Oh my gosh, I'm just glued to them when she pops on. So a lot of wisdom right there and hope, you know, that is something that we can lose quickly when we start to flounder. So love that you dig that back up. Our next speaker is Mandy. Mandy, would you come off mute? Mandy, you've probably seen a lot of Mandy's lives too and posts here recently. She's made some great, sharing some great things on our client page. So Mandy, if you come off and share with us, I'd appreciate it.
Absolutely. Can everybody hear me? Yes? All right, awesome. Well, thank you for leading this tonight, Shauna. And I'm probably going to go a little bit of a different route, but one of the questions that I like to ask struggling clients is, what do you feel you need to be successful? And one of two things is going to happen, but I do get a significant amount of clients that will answer with, well, I need to be in my life book. If they don't say that, sometimes they might answer and say, well, I don't know. And so one of the things that I just want to throw out there, and this is kind of in line with what Shauna spoke about, is that we know, and it's a reminder to all of us, that coaching our clients is not about us. It's about showing them what they want and awakening them to discovering what's most important to them, even if they've lost their way a little bit and they're just on the struggle bus, right? So it's really just about peeling the layers. Oh, Frank likes my shirt. Thank you, Frank. My niece and nephew are going to Ohio State this week. So just had to throw that out there. But it really is about peeling away and getting them to discover what they want and how they're going to get there. So if they say that they don't know what they want, let the pause happen. And you can simply say, okay, so if you did know, what do you think you would need to be successful? And let the pause happen. And if they still don't know, my next question, if they don't answer with it, is, are you in your life book? And if they're not, my next question is, why not? And just keep it really simple and really basic. And most often you're going to get the slew of excuses, busy, this, that. You know, it's typically not that they don't want to, it's just, you know, full of excuses. And so, you know, I will say, I'm curious as to what the resistance is. And then they just keep coming up with things, right? And so at that point, typically I will say, well, tell me more about this busy schedule. Tell me what your days look like so that we can figure this out together. And that's really something that I am still learning how to do. I feel like I've listened to enough of our coaches on our team that I pick up different things here and there. And most often our clients want to be successful, right? They don't want to fail, but it's always fear. It comes down to fear. They're scared and they might not know that. So just keep asking. If you knew, what would it be? So one of the other things I like to ask is, do you think that you could find 5 minutes in your day? And almost always the answer is yes. So then you have to ask, well, when and where do you think would be the best time for you to find 5 minutes? And let them talk, let them answer that, right? Where do you keep your life book? You know, if they don't know where it is, then that's a problem. If they keep it by their bed, then that's great, right? So I think it's really just about peeling away, and making it about what they want versus what you want. because we all want it for them. But what's most important is that they have to have that desire level themselves. And we all know that long-term success is going to come from being in the life book. So those are my tips. Hopefully you found some value in that.
That was fabulous, Mandy. Thank you so much. Wow. I took a lot of notes. Okay. You've heard hope, you've heard fear, and they're digging around in all of these things. And so impactful. That's a whole lot more than what was your weight loss this week? How are you doing, with your water? And I have to share a funny, I've got a client who moved and her life book is under the house in a box under her crawl space. And every week I say, has anybody gotten in that crawl space yet and gotten your book out? And she's like, no. And I can just imagine going in the crawl space, right? All right, we're going to bring on Connie Queen next. Connie is an amazing coach as well and has such a spirit of just being able to read people really well. So Connie, she's got some great things to share. Would you come off of mute?
Yeah, I am. Thanks, Shauna. I really appreciate you asking me to be a part of this conversation tonight, that we're coming from a point of view of taking like this deeper dive. And you asked me to focus on asking questions based on intuition. And so prior to each call, but with a client, I take a moment to presence myself with prayer. And my prayer goes something like this. Dear God, please show me how to set aside everything that I think that I know with an open heart and an open mind. May I be a channel of your love and your light. I ask that I may hear, feel, see, and know with compassion, clarity, and confidence the questions that are accurate and specific that lead us to the highest and greatest good of all involved. So be it, so it is. We know that most of us come to Optavia with the desire to lose weight. And after the initial enthusiasm wears off and, the fat burn, and maybe we get off just a little bit off course, we find that at that deeper level, the emotions start to bubble to the surface. Because Dr. A in Element 4 tells us that most people are walking around sleepwalking, blaming their current circumstances and on their poor choices. And I say that people personally push my button because they're the mirror for my growth. So when I trust that, and when my client shows up with the pain of those poor choices, I guide them to take a moment, just like I did when I presence myself before the call, to close their eyes, to pause, to breathe, and to get out of their logical head with all the stuff and the story and the emotion that they got going on about it, and come back into their bodies. And from that point of breathing and being centered and at peace, that's where I, as a coach, have an opportunity, I think, to really facilitate change. I believe that the body holds tons and tons of wisdom and gives us great insight if we're brave and bold and courageous enough to ask the questions. So the first question that I ask is, where do you feel that pain or discomfort in your body? And then I ask them to place their hand on their heart or on the spot of most intense discomfort. Pain, we have pains and we think it's just the pain, but it's not. It's stored emotions, it's stored beliefs, it's old hurts and disappointments and fears. And once they get out of their logical mind and they take that 12-inch drop, the shortest distance and the longest journey from the head to the heart, and they're focusing on their body, I'll dig a little bit deeper. And I'll ask them if it has a color or a shape or a texture or a sensation. Is it probing or burning or blue or red or mushy or goopy, or, they come up with all kinds of things like concrete. And then after a moment of them telling me and describing what this pain is like in this body, I'll ask them, does it have a message for you? And I will pause that uncomfortable amount of time, because I remember that I've learned here that the magic happens in the silence. And then after we've explored that a little bit closer, I'll ask them to tell me about a time when they felt that way before. And, as they recall the situation, their reactive brain wants to go more back into trying to tell you why it happened. But my job is to guide them back into their body and say, how old were you? Where did you live? What was the weather like then? Do you recall any sights or any sounds? How did that make you feel? Because I'm not here to know why this happened. My job is to hold space for those emotions to be released, those trapped emotions that have been down there like the peeling of that onion. And by providing a safe and trusted relationship for my client, it becomes easier over time for them to reveal those things until they've been stored blind back there in the deep, dark file cabinets of their brain. And it's stored under layers and layers and layers of things that have happened in life. And until we uncover it and give them that safe place to dig it up and bring it out into the light, they then can realize that as adult men and women, and they're perfectly capable of keeping themselves safe. So we, as a coaching community, provide a safe place. And we have this loving, larger community of people to love them while they do the hard work, which is the heart work. And then ultimately through the processes that Dr. A beautifully lines out thoroughly in element 23 on mastering your thoughts and emotions, and 24 in higher consciousness, I guide the client back there to observe and release those emotions that then will allow them to reach their optimal health and well-being and become that higher version of themselves where they're fully conscious and they begin to thrive by being the dominant force in their life.
Connie, that was amazing. Thank you so much. I'm just wow on the shares tonight. You girls did a beautiful job. Lucy asked, great tips, but how does all this happen on a 10 to 15 minute call? It happens because sometimes we don't even ask them at all about their weight and their water and their food. We're focusing on what's going on. Okay. If you had asked them, did they have a great week? No, I had a crappy week. Work was terrible. This was terrible. And that's when all that goes aside and you're just trying to focus on what's going on with them. So you can get a lot in 10 to 15 minutes if you're targeted with your questions like these ladies have shared with you. That was just beautiful, all of you. And Connie, I love your heart behind how you're digging a little deeper. And element 23, there are 3 elements that deal with what's up here. And I am always reminding my clients of those elements because really this journey isn't about, can you eat a 6-ounce piece of chicken and, 3 servings of broccoli? This journey is more about what's up here and what we're trying to help them to shift and change up there. And that's where digging just a little deeper with them and getting off of the diet train, because that's kind of what they hear when every week we're going, how much weight did you lose? Did you get all your water in? How about your lean and green? Oh, you're missing some fuelings. Well, let's talk about those fuelings. You've got to dig a little deeper. So I hope this was helpful. I'd love for you just to put like a 10 in the chat if this was just amazing to you, because it was like over a 10 for me. I learn every time I listen to you girls. Thank you so much for being willing to share from the heart tonight. And go back and listen to this again, because I'm going to need to go back and take more notes myself. Dee, I'm going to turn it back over to you. Thank you all so much for being willing to share tonight.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Loved it. Loved it. And I think that, thank you to every one of our speakers. And I think that somebody put it in the comments, it comes down to hope, fear, and emotions, right? And those are the things that trip our clients up. We are not counselors, right? We are Optavia coaches, and generally we are guides to the tools. And so being familiar with your life book, what's in it, different things, guiding your clients like, hey, well, then you know what, you might want to be on tomorrow night's call. I loved Mandy's question about, I have a question, where are you in your life book? Or what do you think the problem is? It's always putting it back that coaching is all about in the self-discovery. But if you're newer to coaching, I want you to realize that this will come over time. But the most important thing I've realized, and somebody said at the very beginning, was and Connie reinforced it, is presence. And just be really careful, you guys, that we're not distracted. We're so lucky we can do this on the go, But I will tell you, when I used to try to coach my clients while I was driving, you know, with somebody in the back seat, with my husband in the car, you know, those kind of things, it was never really an effective call. You know, so often, a lot of times I'd be looking to say, okay, like, you know, how can we wrap this up? Because I got to, you know, get to my next thing. And then we're not present, right? So if we can turn down the noise, that's what I've learned about intuition and asking questions. If you can turn down the noise and turn down these distractions, and like was brought up tonight, if you can put your own thoughts, your own agenda, your own fears, right? Because what's our fear when somebody starts saying they're not doing well in the program? We're like, uh-oh, you know, please don't quit. Yeah, we've got to put all of that aside, right? And be present, because when we're present, the noise goes down and then the intuition comes up, and then those questions can come out. And that was something I mean, I had to learn that. And then once it happened, it was like, whoa, that's crazy. But you can't do it while you're trying to, you know, make dinner and all that stuff. So, so that would just be my tip, is as you're thinking about this, if you're finding that it's really hard, maybe try to get more into those moments of silence, because following on what Lucy said, I'm going to tell you, it is amazing how deep you can go with somebody quickly with a powerful question in a very short amount of time. It really is. When they feel like your wall is down there, I mean, if you can help them get their wall down and they feel like, and they know you understand them and you're there for them, it'll be amazing what people will say that can help them move forward. So, so very, very good. Next week, if you want to go ahead and save the, you know, save the day. Next week, we're going to talk about the question had been raised in the Facebook group about how do we move people from curiosity to a health assessment. So those people that have maybe asked a question or liked some of your post or whatever, or maybe they said, tell me about your program and you never got to it. We're going to do a panel on that and how to, you know, effectively ask questions and move people so that we can get them into the conversation that we know can help them move forward. So I just am impressed with you guys, and just so grateful that you commit your time to be here, to be your best for others. It is, you are recognized, you are seen, and the impact that you're going to be able to have on other people by learning and growing yourself is going to be tremendous. So thank you for all that you're doing. Thank you, Shauna, for leading the call, and to all of our panelists, to Connie, Elaine, and to Mandy. It was fabulous. All right, we'll see you guys on the other calls this week and in the Facebook group. Bye.